Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to start today's session with you. Today, we'll explore Unit 1, titled 2 is Better Than 1, focusing on conversation and listening skills. This is part of Mega Goal 3.1. In this presentation, we'll cover some key strategies to enhance your communication, especially in conversations and active listening. So, let's get started and make the most of our time together. All right, on this slide, we're focusing on the lesson objectives for today. First, we'll learn how to find specific information in conversations. This is a key skill because it helps us understand and respond accurately. Next, we'll practice some questions about the conversation, which will improve our comprehension and speaking skills. We'll also look at words along with their meanings, so we can expand our vocabulary and use these words confidently. The activities listed, listening, answering, using, and matching, are designed to help us practice these skills in a practical way. By the end of this lesson, you'll be better at understanding conversations, asking and answering questions, and using new words correctly. This ties into the overall theme of improving real-world communication, so I encourage you to stay engaged and actively participate. Let's take a closer look at the scene. How many persons are there? Well, there are 2 persons present. Now, who are they exactly? They are Bader and Adnan. And what are they doing? They are having a conversation, they are talking to each other. This simple interaction highlights the importance of communication, which is a key theme in our presentation. Understanding who is involved and what they are doing helps us grasp the dynamics of effective interaction in various contexts. So, let's talk about the relationship between the boys. They are close friends who have decided to share an apartment. This is a practical choice to make their living situation more affordable while they focus on their studies. Now, you might wonder why they are sharing an apartment specifically. The main reason is to save money. Living together allows them to split expenses like rent and utilities, which can be quite high in a city like New York. Speaking of New York, that's where they will be studying. This city is not only vibrant and full of opportunities, but it also provides an ideal environment for academic growth and personal development. So, in summary, these boys are sharing an apartment in New York to support each other financially and make the most of the educational opportunities there. This setup highlights their teamwork and practical approach to pursuing their goals. So, one of the key points here is that they don't want to argue about chores. That's an important aspect of their agreement, avoiding conflicts over household responsibilities. It shows they're focusing on cooperation and clear communication. Next, they've decided to each take responsibility for their own rooms and to clean a bathroom. This way, everyone knows what's expected, and it's fair. They also plan to take turns cleaning the rest of the apartment, which helps distribute the workload evenly and keeps things manageable. Adnan will handle washing the laundry, and Bader will take care of folding it. This division of labor ensures that chores are shared, but also tailored to their strengths or preferences. Finally, neither of them wants to cook often, which is understandable. Bader suggests they order takeout frequently, which makes sense if cooking isn't enjoyable or feasible for them. Overall, these agreements reflect their desire to maintain harmony and practicality in their shared living situation, aligning with the broader theme of effective communication and cooperation in shared spaces. Who says that effective communication is just about words? Sometimes, it's about being on the same wavelength. When we say on the same wavelength, we're talking about that intuitive understanding between people. It's that moment when you and someone else are in sync, sharing the same perspective or feeling, almost without needing to say much. And here, Bader reminds us that this kind of connection is vital, especially in teamwork or leadership, because it fosters trust and cohesion. When everyone is on the same wavelength, it's easier to collaborate, solve problems, and move forward smoothly. So, in the bigger picture of this presentation, remember that achieving this alignment isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a cornerstone of effective interaction and success. It's about genuinely understanding each other beyond just words. Who says, no sweat, Bader? Well, Bader is someone who embodies confidence and resilience. When he says no sweat, It's not just about effortless effort, it's a mindset. It's about approaching challenges with a calm attitude, trusting in our ability to handle whatever comes our way. This phrase highlights the importance of maintaining composure and believing in our skills, especially when facing obstacles. Throughout this presentation, we've been talking about the importance of mindset and attitude in achieving success. Batter's words remind us that sometimes the key is to stay relaxed and confident, even under pressure. So, keep that in mind as we move forward. Adopt that no-sweat attitude and face your next challenge with calm assurance. Who says, well, it's interesting to see how different people express their feelings about certain activities or ideas. In this case, we have the phrase, not my cup of tea, which is a common idiom. It's often used to politely indicate that something isn't really to our taste or interest. Here, Batter is highlighting how people might use this phrase to communicate their personal preferences without sounding dismissive or rude. It's a great example of how language can be both polite and expressive at the same time. This ties back to our overall theme of understanding communication styles and how language reflects our attitudes and cultural nuances. Recognizing these expressions helps us connect better with others and navigate conversations more effectively. So, keep in mind, when someone says, not my cup of tea, they're simply sharing their preferences in a gentle, relatable way. Batter is the one who uses all of these expressions. You see, Batter has a unique way of communicating, and he consistently applies these expressions in his daily conversations. This not only helps him express himself clearly, but also makes his interactions more engaging and relatable. By using these expressions, Batter connects better with others, demonstrating his understanding of cultural and social nuances. It's important to recognize how such language use reflects his personality and his approach to communication. This example highlights how incorporating specific expressions can enhance our language skills and social interactions. Remember, Batter's example ties back to our overall theme of effective communication and language mastery. So on this slide, we're talking about a discussion between two parties, and the main goal here is to reach an agreement. Essentially, it's about open dialogue where both sides communicate their perspectives, interests, and concerns. The key point is that through this conversation, they aim to find common ground or solutions that are acceptable to everyone involved. It's important to remember that effective discussions like this require good communication skills, active listening, and a willingness to understand the other side's point of view. This idea ties back to the overall theme of collaboration and negotiation that we've been exploring throughout the presentation. Whether in business, diplomacy, or everyday life, successful agreements often stem from these kinds of constructive discussions. So, the focus here is on creating a dialogue that's respectful and productive, leading to mutually beneficial outcomes. Let's take a closer look at the phrases in the box and see which ones were actually used in the conversation. Now, focus on the question, who says them? According to the slide, all these phrases were said by Batter. This is important because it helps us understand his perspective and role in the dialogue. When analyzing conversations, noting who says what allows us to grasp the dynamics and the key points being communicated. So, remember, the phrases in the box are tied directly to Batter's words, which can give us insight into his intentions and the overall message of the conversation. Now, let's look at this slide and focus on which phrases from the box were actually used in the conversation. You'll notice the question, who says them? And the answer is, said by Adnan. This helps us understand how specific expressions play a role in communication. As I go through, I want you to pay attention to the key phrases Adnan used because they can reveal a lot about his attitude, intention, or emotional state. Recognizing these phrases can also help us improve our own conversational skills, especially in understanding different perspectives. Overall, this slide emphasizes the importance of paying close attention to language choices during conversations, as they can provide deeper insight into the speaker's mindset and the context of the discussion. Now, let's talk about the role-playing strategy. This is a powerful technique that can really enhance learning and engagement. Essentially, it involves taking on different roles or perspectives in a simulated scenario. By doing this, participants can practice real-world interactions in a safe environment. The key benefit is that it helps build empathy and understanding as you step into someone else's shoes. It also encourages active participation, making the experience more memorable. When we connect this to our overall theme of effective communication, role-playing becomes a tool to develop better listening, responding, and problem-solving skills. Remember, the success of this strategy depends on creating realistic scenarios and encouraging open, honest interaction. When used thoughtfully, role-playing can transform a passive learning experience into an active, impactful one. Thank you for your attention. I want to share with you the journey that shaped my career. It all started with a dream to become a doctor, which motivated me to work hard and graduate from King Saud University. Pursuing my passion further, I earned my master in pediatric surgery, a specialized field that allows me to make a real difference in children's lives. Being a member of the Canadian Board of Pediatric Surgeons was a significant milestone, giving me international recognition and expertise. I also took on the role of assistant professor at King Saud University, where I dedicated myself to education and training future healthcare professionals. Later, I was honored to serve as the Executive Director of Health Affairs at the National Guard, overseeing vital health initiatives. This experience paved the way for my appointment as Minister of Health, a role that challenged me to improve the healthcare system on a national level. One of the most memorable moments was performing surgery on Polish twins, working alongside a talented team. This successful operation earned recognition from the Polish community, highlighting the importance of global collaboration. Finally, I was privileged to be appointed as a consultant in the royal court, allowing me to contribute at the highest levels of leadership. Each step of this journey has reinforced my commitment to advancing healthcare and serving my community. Thank you. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. All right, let's take a closer look at this slide. We start with the letter E, which represents the initial step in our process. It's all about establishing the foundation. Then, moving on to A, which signifies the first action we need to take, setting clear goals and objectives. Next is B, where we focus on building the necessary tools or resources to support our efforts. After that comes D, emphasizing the importance of development, whether that's skills, systems, or processes, to ensure we're moving forward effectively. Finally, we have C, which reminds us to communicate clearly and collaborate throughout each phase. This sequence highlights the logical flow of our project or strategy, starting with a solid base, taking deliberate actions, developing our capabilities, and maintaining strong communication. It's all interconnected and essential for success. Keep these points in mind as they tie into our broader theme of structured growth and effective execution. All right, let's take a look at slide 17. On this page, you'll see the reference to the workbook, specifically page 222, which contains the exercises labeled as H. These exercises are designed to reinforce what we've covered today and help you apply the concepts practically. There's also a note about homework, which means you'll want to spend some time reviewing these exercises after the session. Doing so will solidify your understanding and prepare you for the next steps. Remember, the key takeaway here is that consistent practice through these exercises is crucial for mastering the material. It connects everything we've discussed, from theory to application. So, I encourage you to approach these exercises thoughtfully. They're an important part of your learning journey.